Alright everyone, doesn't it seem like the anti-Trump hysteria is reaching a significant fever pitch? I find it very, very strange. Well, not strange, I think I know what's going on. But it's a little bit mystifying when you have the corporate media, including Fox, which a lot of people, I'm saying, Fox is corporate media too, they're pro-globalist, they'd get their checks signed by a multinational parent company, and you think that they stand for like American nationalism, civic nationalism, exceptionalism or something. No, they don't. They stand for globalism. You should shut off Fox News the same as you shouldn't be paying attention to CNN, MSNBC, any of these other tabloid firms. It's all they are. To compete with the internet, they've devolved into clickbait. The Trump stuff is no exception. We've now got the strange situation where Vladimir Putin is coming forward himself and saying, oh, I'll release the conversations that Trump had with Sergei Lavrov and show that no classified info ever changed hands. I can prove that. I've got the conversations right here. So you've got Putin, former foreign head of state, rising to the defense of Trump against, you know, spurious sort of remarks that Congress is making. By the way, he should release it. If he can prove that, if he can exonerate Trump on that token, it'd be very, very funny. Because Trump, I think that Trump is trying to work with Russia in a very innocuous way. Not like working with them like an espionage agent, but just trying to have fucking regular diplomacy with the Russian state and not constantly antagonize them. And this, by the way, despite the fact we still got like Russian bombers skirting our coast, we skirt their coasts, and then, you know, the Cold War low-level sort of simmer stuff keeps going on. But why would you want to antagonize things, make them worse, and end up with a real second Cold War, like Sputniks flying around and atomic testing and stuff? The John McCains of the world love that idea. He gets nostalgic for the times when he thought he'd be able to go into his gold-gilded bunker and watch all the poor people die on live TV before the bombs hit, you know, in total chaos meltdown mode. He thought it would be a great thing, because he fucking hates everybody in the world, including himself. The John McCains and Lindsey Grahams don't fucking care about you. When when you've got people like John McCain and people like Dianne Feinstein ideologically agreeing with each other, you'd better be very fucking worried. Because these people supposedly hate one another, and yet they're more or less in lockstep on the Trump issue. Let me ask you something. Are you indicating, by you I mean the corporate media, the corporate politicians, the dual citizens with foreign loyalties, because Israel is involved apparently in this story as having gathered this intel that was supposedly shared in the first place. Let me ask these people, do you consider Russia to be a hostile state or just a competitor? Because it fucking matters. Now, Obama seemed to think that it was just a competitor. When he was debating Mitt Romney back in the 2012 election, when he was there, Mitt Romney was asked, what's our main adversary on the world stage? What's the main problem on the world stage? Main sponsor terrorism, whatever. He said Russia. And Obama had a great big smirk on his face and dismissed it entirely and said, oh, Mitt, you're so out of touch. The Cold War has been over for years. They're not an adversary. They're not a hostile state. They're just an economic competitor and a diplomatic competitor. That's all they are. You fucking outdated Mitt. He should have spun a meme out of it. It would have worked. And when Obama said that so many years ago, he was fundamentally right. Russia's not an adversary of ours anymore. You want adversaries? You're looking at states like North Korea, kind of Venezuela sometimes. You're looking at the Saudis. The Saudis pretend to be our ally while screwing us constantly. They're an adversary. The same as Iran. They're both adversaries of our state. I would say the Vatican is a main adversary right now. I'm being totally fucking serious here. The Pope constantly tries to meddle in our politicking. This country was founded on rejection of theocracy. We should be rejecting it even more today. Say fuck the Pope. Russia, certainly a competitor, but look at their economy. Their population is a fraction of ours. They've got a huge land area, lots of resources. They still haven't fully diversified their economy. A lot of their industry is rusted out, sort of commie block stuff. All they've got is nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons and tanks. Okay, that does not an adversary make. Who's going to be willing to press the little red button? I tell you, if John McCain was in charge, he probably already would have pressed it. And you're going to trust him to talk about the Comey memo shit? It is a piece of paper. People are acting like the political situation in the U.S. is in a full panic and a full meltdown right now. The only meltdown I see is the alarmism of the corporate media and of people in Congress. That's the only meltdown I see. They're the ones having a problem. Trump doesn't have a problem here. His problem is a piece of paper where James Comey makes a claim. It is not a legal referendum on Trump's presidency. It's a claim Comey makes in writing on an official memo. It doesn't make it true. It certainly doesn't make it properly worded, which also matters, as I've said. As for the firing Comey bullshit, it was within Trump's right to do. Whether or not you think an investigation was ongoing, we still don't even quite know the answer. Is it or is it not? Nobody will give you a straight answer. People just make weird assumptions. They don't even want to get it from the mouth of the horse. You look at all these people, and then they act like it would impede the FBI's investigation to fire Comey. Like the FBI doesn't have other people who are capable of being the acting head of the FBI. Oh, the head of the FBI is gone. We've got to shut down this child sex trafficking ring investigation. We don't have a head to the FBI. We have to shut down this drug sting. We have to shut down this corruption probe. Shut everything down. Everybody go home. The acting director just got fired, so we've got nothing to do. Is that how you think the FBI works? It's not how the FBI works. They've got an acting director already. They had it within minutes of Comey being fired. He just takes over and says, oh, well, I'm in charge now, I guess, as an interim head, until they either just put me in as the head and get me a new sort of vice director or whatever it is, assistant director, or until they put somebody else in here. Trump did nothing wrong in firing Comey, and this memo is meaningless. But the fact that so many people in Congress, including a lot of Republicans, are acting like it is very, very, very alarming indeed. You should be alarmed. When the John McCains and the Feinsteins get together, pledge themselves to basically the same sort of speech, you should be very, very worried, because it's a conspiracy of some sort. Something is amiss. You can tell. They're in league with the corporate media. I think people have various assumptions about what this is. You know, pro-globalist conspiracy, Zionist sort of stuff you get from some of the Stormfront people. Does it really even fucking matter, though? There's corruption going on. We need to weed it out. I'll say something else. I think that the Neocon Republicans, the Lindsey Grahams and John McCains, the war-hawking neocons, the globalists, the ones that get their paychecks signed mostly by multinational corporations, multinational banks in foreign states as opposed to the U.S., their loyalty is predominantly foreign or multinational in nature. Those people are on board with the Democrats calling for, impeachment, investigation, and bullshit like that. Because they're worried that their own secrets will be exposed the same way the DNC leaks occurred. Because if you think it's just the DNC that's that corrupt, you're totally wrong. The fact that the DNC is embroiled in, it fucks around with its primary process. It fucks around with donations. It steals from its own candidates if it wants to back somebody else and then throws money their way. It lies to people. It co-opts the so-called free press of the corporate media, which is their, like, sacred, it's the First Amendment. No, those are corporations that happen to be on TV. Doesn't make them any more press than a fucking blog or a vlog. They're the same fundamental thing for legal purposes. There's no difference. Doesn't matter if you have a journalism degree. There wasn't such a thing in the early days of our country, and yet there was still freedom of press. How can this possibly be? It's because it refers to the printing press. It refers to the distribution of information in any non-verbal manner. That's the freedom of press. It's a book. It's whatever. It's a magazine, a circulary, whatever you happen to be putting out there. They're worried. The GOP insiders, the old guard McCains of the party, are terrified somebody's going to leak their emails, because it'll show that they're the same thing. What would happen if the Dems and Reps both had the same problem? A lot of people would lose faith in both. They'd refuse to vote for them. A lot of them would stay home. A lot of them would vote third-party, independent candidates. They would collapse. They would begin to lose more power, which means the globalism gig would be up within our country. A third party that's not tainted by globalism and may have a platform that precludes it from taking part in it might rise to power. They're not willing to risk that. They want to lock things down, and they think that Trump might out them. That's why they want to get rid of him. I don't think they'll be successful. I think he's going to keep outmaneuvering them. But this political shit show, where people pretend to be freaked out because of a fucking piece of paper, where James Comey makes a claim without any further apparent evidence. After sitting on it for months, technically, shouldn't he have alerted the DOJ to this? This is something people were pointing out on my video. I concur. Technically speaking, he should have come forth and told the Department of Justice that this conversation happened, and he apparently didn't. That alone would be a firing offense, by the way, even if it involves Trump himself. And it's still just a claim he's making. You're going to have to investigate that. Unless there's an audio clip or something, it doesn't matter. They might try to impeach him anyway on the mere suspicion, and a lot of people in the country will just roll over and accept it. Which is sad. You're going to trust a bunch of people in Congress who have like a 10% trustworthiness rating or so. It's lower than the corporate media. Yeah, you're going to trust a bunch of corporations and the politicians that they control to look out for your best interests because they pretend to be concerned about our republic. They've been destroying our republic for decades. These people are a bunch of asshat pricks. John McCain is a prick. Lindsey Graham is a prick. Dianne Feinstein is an old bitch. That's what these people are. You're going to trust them? You're going to trust them along with the Rupert Murdochs of the world to tell you what the truth is or is not? I think that's a terrible idea. I'd rather hedge my bets with Trump. Yeah, after all the weird off-the-wall shit he said that I can properly analyze, I'd still rather hedge my bets with Trump. Even if he is an off-the-wall chaotic character, I'd much rather assume that he's at least trying and just being impeded by people that are absolutely terrified that he's going to out them in their own corruption. Yeah, I'll stand with Trump on that one. Unless further and incontrovertible evidence is given to me that he's actually a Russian agent, that he's actually totally retarded or something like that. But I want more evidence than a piece of paper that James Comey scribbles on. I want more evidence than a claim by John McCain or Dianne Feinstein, because I don't trust these people. I have no reason to. Throughout their entire careers, they've never given anyone a reason to trust them. I'm surprised they keep getting reelected. It's astonishing to me, the rate of incumbents that actually manage to retain their seats within Congress on any given election year. It's amazing to me. They should all be out of a job, minus maybe Rand and Amash and half a dozen others. There are very, very few of these people that are worth their salt. So why do you keep re-electing them? That's what we need to do. We need to clean house, literally, as in the House of Representatives and the Senate. We need to clean these places up and get rid of the slime. If you want to drain the swamp, by the way, Trump can't do that alone. He's just an executive. He's limited by the separation of powers. It's going to require a great deal of public action at the voting booth to actually begin the process. Because right now, there are at least a few Republicans that won't work with the Republican President of the United States, that'd rather work with the left. Now ask yourself why that is. Do you think it's because they're honest, or do you think it's because they're trying to cover up for their own corrupt asses? I think it's the latter. That's about all. Peace out.